What happens when a wife breaks her sacred promise to never reconnect with her ex, then spends a drunken night comforting him after his divorce? Can she convince her husband that nothing happened when everyone saw them leave together? I'm Ophelia Winters, 33 years old, and I'm about to make the biggest mistake of my life. I'm sitting on our living room sofa, scrolling through my phone while my husband Marcus reads a bedtime story to our daughter Emma upstairs. That's when I see it. Damien's post about his divorce being final. My ex-boyfriend from 4 years ago, looking broken and lost in a selfie outside the courthouse. My chest gets tight in a way that surprises me. We dated for 3 years before I met Marcus. Seeing Damien hurting like this stirs something I thought was long dead. I can hear Marcus upstairs doing different voices for Emma's favourite princess story. He's such a good father. That thought should stop me from what I'm about to do, but it doesn't. I type a message to Damien, then delete it. Too friendly. I type another one. Too cold. The fifth attempt seems right. Just checking if he's okay, saying I saw his post. Nothing wrong with that, right? Old friends support each other through hard times. My finger hovers over the send button for 10 seconds before I press it. Marcus comes downstairs and asks what I'm doing. I tell him I'm texting Sarah about weekend plans. The lie comes out so smooth it scares me. He kisses my forehead and says he's tired from debugging code all day. I watch him head to bed early, like he's been doing for months now. His exhaustion feels convenient for what I'm planning, though I won't admit that to myself yet. Damien responds within minutes. He says he's drowning, that she took everything, that he never thought it would end like this. His pain reaches through the screen. I tell him he's strong and will get through this. He says I always knew the right things to say. That comment warms me more than it should. We text for 2 hours. Marcus is snoring softly upstairs. Damien mentions he still lives in the same apartment building, the one with the rooftop view where we used to watch sunsets. He says the sunsets aren't the same alone. I type that maybe he needs company, then delete it quickly. But I'm thinking it. He asks if we can meet for coffee. Just to talk, he says. As friends. He needs someone who knew him before everything fell apart. I stare at that message for 5 minutes. Marcus and I have a rule about exes. We promised each other when we got married. No contact, no meetings, no harmless coffees. It's a boundary that protects our marriage. I type yes before I can stop myself. Tomorrow afternoon while Emma is at school and Marcus is at work. Just 1 hour at a public place. What harm could come from helping someone who's suffering? I tell myself I'm being compassionate. Good people don't abandon friends in crisis. The next morning, Marcus mentions he has a dentist appointment at 3:30. I see it on our shared calendar. Perfect timing. I don't have to lie about where I'll be. I dress carefully, telling myself it's just a normal Wednesday. But I choose the blue dress Damien always liked. I put on perfume I haven't worn in years. These are small betrayals that I rationalize as self-care. 2 days pass before I actually see him. I've changed the meeting 3 times, guilt fighting with anticipation. Finally, I'm standing on his apartment balcony, 20 floors up. He invited me up after coffee just to see the view again. I'm holding a glass of wine I promised myself I wouldn't drink. The city spreads below us like a different life I could have lived. Damien looks older but still handsome in that dangerous way. He tells me about the loneliness, how his wife never understood his dreams, how she crushed his spirit. I make sympathetic noises. He says I was the only woman who ever really saw him. His hand brushes mine when he says this. I don't pull away. My phone buzzes with Marcus asking about dinner. I text back that I'm stuck in traffic from a dental supply run. Another lie, easier than the first. Damien watches me type and says Marcus is lucky. He says some men don't appreciate what they have until it's gone. The way he looks at me makes my stomach flutter like I'm 23 again. He pours another glass even though I say no. The wine makes everything softer. He tells me about the nights he's thought about what went wrong between us. How he should have fought harder for me. How he's different now, more mature. I know I should leave, but his pain keeps me anchored to this balcony, to this moment outside my real life. When I finally leave after 2 hours, he hugs me goodbye. It lasts too long. I smell his cologne, the same one that used to be on my clothes all those years ago. He whispers that seeing me saved him today. The elevator ride down feels like descending back to reality. My car still smells like the vanilla air freshener Marcus bought me. Normal, safe, boring. I drive home practicing my normal wife face. Dinner needs to be started. Emma has homework to check. Marcus will want to tell me about his day. But something has shifted. A door I locked 4 years ago is cracking open. I tell myself I can control this. I'm just being a good friend. Nothing has happened. Nothing will happen. But when I walk through our front door, Emma runs to hug me and stops. She asks why I smell different. Kids notice everything. Marcus looks up from his laptop, studying my face. I say I tried a new lotion at the store. He nods, but his eyes linger. My phone lights up with a text from Damien. Marcus is holding my phone to check the time for Emma's bath. The preview of Damien's message appears on the screen. Last night was just like old times. Marcus's face changes as he reads it. The temperature in the room drops. Emma asks why Daddy looks sad. I start to explain, but what can I say that won't make everything worse? Marcus hands me my phone without a word and takes Emma upstairs for her bath. I hear him tell her that Mommy needs some quiet time. The message from Damien is still on the screen. I text him back quickly that he meant yesterday, not last night, and to be careful with his words. He sends a laughing emoji and says Marcus seems uptight. I delete the conversation. When Marcus comes back down, he asks directly who Damien is. I tell him he's an old friend going through a divorce. Marcus reminds me of our agreement about exes. I say Damien isn't really an ex, just someone I knew before. The lie feels necessary to protect Marcus from unnecessary worry. He looks at me for a long moment, then says he trusts me. Those 3 words cut deeper than any accusation would have. 3 days later, I'm at the downtown wine bar Damien suggested. It's far from Marcus's office and our usual places. I told Marcus I'm at a dental conference networking event. The lies are getting more elaborate, but I tell myself they're protecting everyone. Damien orders the same wine we drank on our first date years ago. 1 glass won't hurt, I think. The bar is dark and intimate. Damien sits too close in the booth, but I don't move away. He's telling me about our old vacation to Miami, how I looked in that red bikini, how perfect everything was between us. My phone rings. It's Sarah. I let it go to voicemail. She calls again immediately. I excuse myself to the bathroom. Sarah asks where I really am because she just drove by the conference hotel looking for me. My car isn't there. My heart races as I tell her I carpooled with Janet from work. She says she's worried about me, that people are talking. I ask what people. She says Marcus's brother Tom saw me somewhere last week. I tell her she's being paranoid and married women can have friends. She says not friends who look at them like Damien looks at me. When I return to the table, Damien has ordered appetizers and another bottle. He says I look tense and starts massaging my shoulders right there in the booth. The couple at the next table stares. I should stop him, but his hands feel familiar, comfortable. He reminds me about the time we talked about running away to California, starting fresh where nobody knew us. I laugh and say that was a lifetime ago. He says some lifetimes are worth revisiting. The wine makes me brave or stupid. I tell him about how Marcus has been distant lately. Always tired, always working, never really seeing me anymore. Damien says some men don't know how to appreciate passionate women. His hand is on my knee under the table. I don't move it. We stay until the bar closes, lost in memories and wine. The next morning at work is rough. My head hurts and Janet asks if I'm okay. She mentions that I've been distracted lately, checking my phone during patient appointments. Then she drops the bomb. She says she saw me at the wine bar last night with a man who wasn't Marcus. Her husband was there for a business dinner. My mouth goes dry as I scramble for an explanation. I tell her it was a professional meeting with a dental equipment sales rep. She raises an eyebrow and says it looked pretty cozy for a work meeting. I laugh it off, but inside I'm panicking. How many people saw us? Later, my manager calls me in for a quick word. He says some patients have complained about my attention wandering during procedures. One mentioned I took 3 personal calls during their cleaning. He asks if everything is okay at home. I assure him it's fine, just some family stress with Emma starting 2nd grade. He nods but reminds me that personal issues can't affect patient care. The way he looks at me suggests Janet might have said something. I spend the rest of the day paranoid, wondering who else knows what. Marcus picks me up from work because my car is supposedly getting serviced. Another lie to cover that I left it at the wine bar last night and took an Uber home. He asks why I seem jumpy. I blame it on my manager being difficult about scheduling. Marcus offers to talk to him if needed, always wanting to protect me. The guilt sits heavy in my chest, but not heavy enough to stop what's happening. That evening, I watch Marcus help Emma with homework while I text Damien under the dinner table. We're planning to meet again tomorrow. Marcus's phone buzzes with a calendar reminder that says, Library 2:15 p.m. He dismisses it quickly and goes back to Emma's math problems. Something about the way he handled his phone seems different, but I'm too distracted by Damien's messages to care. Emma mentions at dinner that Mommy has a new friend who makes her laugh. Marcus looks at me questioningly. I explain that I've been talking to Sarah more about funny work stories. Emma shakes her head and says no, the friend on the phone who Mommy whispers to. Children are too observant. Marcus doesn't push, but I see him filing this information away. That night, Marcus's mother Linda calls. She says she's concerned because Tom mentioned seeing me out when I said I was working. She asks if everything is okay with Marcus and me. I tell her we're perfect, that Tom must be mistaken. She pauses, then says she hopes I remember that Emma needs stable parents. The warning in her voice is clear. After the call, I find Marcus in his office with his laptop open. He closes it when I enter. I ask what he's working on. He says just organizing some files, backing up important documents. There's a folder labeled Household on his desk. When I reach for it, he says it's just boring tax stuff. His phone lights up with a notification from someone named Sarah. My Sarah. He says it's a work Sarah, new client. Later that night, Damien sends a photo of us from the bar. Someone took it without us knowing and posted it on social media. We're leaning into each other, his hand on my back, my head tilted toward his shoulder. It looks exactly like what it is. The caption says, Spotted. Mystery couple getting cozy downtown. Sarah forwards me the same post. There are 37 comments already. People asking if that's me, if Marcus knows, if we're having problems. Someone tagged Marcus's company account. My hands shake as I read them. This is spiraling beyond my control, but I still tell myself I can manage it. Saturday arrives with Claire's backyard party in full swing. Marcus has to leave early to handle something at his parents' house. He kisses me goodbye, says he'll be back in 2 hours. I watch his car disappear around the corner. 20 minutes later, Damien shows up. Claire says she didn't expect him, but he's always welcome. The look she gives me tells me she knows exactly why he's here. The afternoon starts innocently with volleyball and cold beers, but Damien keeps finding reasons to be near me, his hand on my lower back when we're on the same team. Whispered jokes about people we used to make fun of. Everyone notices. I catch people exchanging glances, see them whisper when we laugh too loud at inside jokes only we understand. Sarah pulls me aside near the cooler and asks what I'm doing. I tell her she's imagining things, that Damien and I are just friends. She says everyone can see it's more than that. She says Marcus deserves better than this. I get defensive and say maybe she's jealous because her own marriage is boring. The hurt on her face tells me I've crossed a line, but I'm too deep in my own lies to apologize. After 5 drinks, Damien decides to give a toast. He stands on a chair, raises his beer and starts talking about second chances. He says sometimes life gives you another shot at happiness. His eyes lock on mine as he says some people are meant to be together no matter what obstacles life throws at them. The backyard goes completely silent. Someone starts recording with their phone. Tom, Marcus's brother, stands up from his lawn chair. He tells Damien he needs to leave. Now. Damien laughs and asks if Big Brother is going to fight all of Marcus's battles. Tom's face goes red. He says I'm the one who should be ashamed, that Marcus is at their mother's house right now defending me against rumors while I'm here proving them all true. I try to diffuse the situation by saying Damien is drunk and emotional about his divorce. Tom looks at me with disgust and says I'm the one who should know better. He says Emma deserves better than a mother who acts like this. Several people gasp at the harsh words. Tom leaves immediately, presumably to find Marcus. Other guests start making excuses to leave too. Claire comes over and suggests maybe I should go home. She's trying to be kind, but her meaning is clear. The party is ruined. Damien offers to drive me since I've been drinking. He says it loud enough for everyone to hear. More whispers, more looks. Someone takes another photo of us leaving together. In his car, Damien says we need to talk somewhere private. He drives to the Marriott downtown, says he needs to grab his jacket from the concierge. He left it there after a lunch meeting yesterday. But when we walk into the hotel lobby, the concierge knows him by name. He asks if Mr. Cross needs his usual room. Damien laughs it off, says just the jacket, but the damage is done. 3 of Marcus's co-workers are in the lobby for their company conference. They see us together. Me, obviously drunk, holding Damien's arm for balance. Him, guiding me through the lobby like we're a couple. One of them, James from Marcus's development team, takes out his phone. I see him typing rapidly. The others just stare, their faces a mix of shock and disappointment. Damien gets his jacket and we head back to the car. Reality is crashing down on me now. The wine is wearing off and I can see how bad this looks. Damien says Marcus doesn't appreciate me, that I deserve someone who makes me feel alive. He says we could be happy together if I just let go of my fear. I tell him I need to think. He says thinking is what kept us apart all these years. The drive home feels like heading toward disaster. Every red light gives me time to check my phone. 17 missed calls from Marcus, 5 from Linda, dozens of texts. Sarah has sent a screenshot of someone's Instagram story showing Damien and me leaving Claire's party together. The caption reads, "Trouble in Paradise," with a broken heart emoji. When Damien pulls into my driveway, every light in the house is on. Marcus's car is already there. My stomach drops to my feet. Damien leans over to kiss my cheek, but I pull away. Too late for boundaries now, though. He says to call him if I need somewhere to stay tonight. The fact that he thinks I might need that option terrifies me. I walk to the front door on shaking legs. Marcus is standing in the doorway holding his phone. His face is completely calm, which is somehow worse than if he was yelling. He's holding printed screenshots of social media posts from the party, photos of Damien and me laughing, touching, leaving together. The comments underneath are brutal. People asking if we're getting divorced, saying they saw this coming, feeling sorry for Marcus. He steps aside to let me in. Emma is nowhere to be seen. He says she's spending the night at his parents' house. Then he asks one question that stops my heart cold. His voice is steady and quiet when he says it. Is Emma even mine? The question hangs in the air between us. I'm shocked he would even ask that. Emma has his eyes, his smile, his stubborn streak, but I realize that my behavior has made him question everything about our life together. Every truth is now suspect because of my lies. I tell him, of course, Emma is his daughter. How could he think otherwise? He says he doesn't know what to think anymore. He shows me a text from James saying he saw me at the hotel with Damien. Another from Tom saying I was all over my ex at the party. A Facebook post where someone asks if that's why I've been so happy lately, because I'm getting attention from my old boyfriend. Marcus says he needs to know everything. Right now. No more lies. He says he's already talked to his parents, to Tom, to Sarah. He knows about the wine bar meetings, the afternoon visits to Damien's apartment, the phone calls I take in the bathroom. He's known for weeks but wanted to believe I would stop, that I would choose our family. I start to explain, but he holds up his hand. He says he needs space to think about what's best for Emma. The way he says it makes clear he's not thinking about what's best for us anymore, just our daughter. He tells me his mother will bring Emma home tomorrow afternoon. He walks to the guest room and closes the door. I hear the lock click. My phone buzzes with a text from Damien asking if everything is okay. I don't respond. Nothing is okay. Everything I built over the past 7 years is crumbling because I couldn't leave the past where it belonged. Sunday dinner at Marcus's parents' house is mandatory. Linda called us both separately and said the family needs to address what's happening. I try to explain on the phone that it's not what everyone thinks, but she cuts me off. She says we'll discuss it in person. Marcus drives separately, having barely spoken to me since last night. Emma rides with him, asking why Mommy can't come in the same car. The dining room feels like a courtroom when we arrive. Marcus sits at the opposite end of the table from me. Emma is upstairs with her cousin, thankfully missing what's about to happen. Linda waits until everyone is seated, then asks me one simple question. She looks me straight in the eye and asks if I've slept with him yet. The directness of it takes my breath away. I say of course not, that Damien is just a friend going through a difficult time. Tom laughs bitterly from across the table. He says everyone at Claire's party would disagree with my definition of friendship. Marcus's father, usually quiet and gentle, speaks up. He says he raised his boys to be respectful but not to be fools. He says Marcus needs to protect himself and Emma from this situation. The way he emphasizes Emma's name makes my stomach turn. Marcus finally speaks, his voice calm and measured. He says he's already taken steps to do exactly that. Linda nods approvingly. She reveals that Sarah came over for coffee yesterday and told her everything. The wine bar meetings, the apartment visits, how I've been lying for weeks. Sarah felt guilty but couldn't watch me destroy my family without trying to help. Tom's wife, Jennifer, usually sweet and quiet, says she won't be bringing their kids around anymore if this is the example being set. She says children learn from what they see, and she doesn't want them learning that marriage vows mean nothing. The family I married into 7 years ago is closing ranks against me. I'm becoming the outsider. I try to explain my side of things. How lonely I've been with Marcus always working late. How Damien just understands parts of me that feel neglected. How nothing physical has happened, so technically I haven't cheated. Linda's face hardens at this. She says every cheater has the same excuse, the same justifications. She asks what I would call it if not cheating. Marcus stands up suddenly and says he needs to check on Emma. The way he walks past me without looking feels like a preview of our future. His mother follows him to the kitchen. I hear them talking in low voices. When they return, Marcus announces we're leaving. He tells Emma it's time to go. She runs downstairs, confused by the tension she can feel but not understand. In the car, Emma asks why everyone looked sad at dinner. She wants to know why Grandma didn't serve dessert like she always does. Then she asks the question that breaks my heart. She wants to know if Mommy and Daddy are getting divorced like her friend Sophia's parents. She says Sophia told her that first her mommy got a new friend, then her daddy moved out. Marcus tells her that sometimes adults have complicated feelings, but we both love her very much. It's a non-answer that somehow makes everything worse. Emma says she heard me on the phone last week saying I loved someone. The car goes silent. Marcus's knuckles are white on the steering wheel. I try to explain that she misheard, but Emma insists. She says I was in the bathroom and said, I love you too. 2 days later, everything unravels further at school pickup. Emma runs to me crying because her friend asked if her parents were getting divorced. Another child said their mum saw my boyfriend at the store. Children repeating their parents' gossip. But the damage to Emma is real. She's been acting out in class, crying during story time, asking her teacher if she'll have to choose who to live with. The teacher, Mrs. Patterson, asks if she can speak with both Marcus and me about Emma's recent behaviour changes. She says it delicately, but her meaning is clear. Our daughter is suffering because of what's happening at home. She mentions that Emma drew a picture of our family but put me standing far away from Marcus and her, closer to the edge of the paper. Marcus arrives 5 minutes later, calm and collected as he's been all week. He tells Mrs. Patterson we're handling some family adjustments. She says she understands that these things happen, but Emma needs stability. She suggests family counselling. The weight of what I'm doing to our daughter hits me like a physical blow. But even then, my phone buzzes with Damien asking about tonight. Marcus sees me glance at the phone. His jaw tightens, but he stays focused on the teacher. She gives us pamphlets about helping children through divorce. The word hangs in the air. We haven't said it yet, but everyone assumes it's coming. Even Emma's teacher is preparing for it. Marcus thanks her and says we'll do whatever is best for Emma. That evening, Emma asks Marcus directly why he's been sleeping in the guest room. He says sometimes adults need space to think about important things. She asks if it's because of Mommy's special friend. The way she says special makes it clear she knows this friend is different. Marcus looks at me over her head, his eyes full of pain and anger. He asks Emma what she knows about Mommy's friend. She says she heard me talking about meeting him, about how he makes me happy. She says I smile at my phone more than I smile at Daddy. Children see everything, understand more than we think. Marcus tells her to go play while the adults talk. She reluctantly goes to her room, but I hear her crying up there. Marcus pulls out his phone and shows me his calendar. There's an entry for tomorrow that says, meeting personal at 2 p.m. He says he's been documenting everything. Every lie, every time I chose Damien over our family, every moment Emma has suffered because of my choices. He's been building a file. Not for revenge, he says, but for protection. His phone lights up with a reminder, and he dismisses it quickly. But I see it says something about forms. He notices me looking and says some things need to be handled properly, through the right channels. He says his parents' lawyer has been very helpful with explaining his options. The casual mention of a lawyer makes everything feel suddenly real and permanent. I ask if he's threatening me. He says no, he's protecting Emma and himself through appropriate legal means. He says he won't be the angry husband who makes scenes or throws things. He'll be the father who did everything properly to protect his child. He picks up Emma's overnight bag and starts packing it. She'll be staying with his parents during the week for stability. I protest that I'm her mother, that he can't just take her. He reminds me that I'm the one who's been absent, distracted, lying. He has documentation of missed pickups, forgotten school events, times I was with Damien instead of at Emma's dance recital. He says any court would find this concerning. The word court makes my blood run cold. He adds that Emma needs consistency right now, not a mother who's emotionally invested in another man. The truth of it stings. I have been absent, even when physically present. My mind and heart have been 20 floors up on Damien's balcony, not here in our home. The riverside promenade is where Marcus asks to meet for a conversation. He chose this public spot carefully, where I can't make a scene but we can talk privately. He looks different somehow, calmer than I've seen him in weeks. His shoulders aren't tense anymore. He says he's done a lot of thinking and made some decisions. I reach for his hand, but he pulls away. He says touching is no longer appropriate given the circumstances. He pulls out his phone and shows me a folder labeled documentation, without opening it. Just lets me see it exists. He says he's been advised to keep records of everything for Emma's sake. I ask who advised him. He says that's no longer my concern. He mentions that Emma will be staying with his parents during the week for stability. I protest that I'm her mother. He says mothers don't destroy their children's homes for men they promise to never contact again. The river flows beside us as joggers pass by. Normal people living normal lives while mine falls apart. Marcus tells me he knows about the multiple meetings with Damien. Not just the ones I admitted to, but all of them. The Tuesday lunches when I said I was shopping. The Friday afternoon at his apartment when I claimed to be at a dental conference. He has receipts, location data, witness statements. I tell him nothing physical has happened with Damien. It's the truth, technically. Marcus says emotional affairs are still affairs. He says everyone saw enough at Claire's party to know where this was heading. He asks if I remember our wedding vows, specifically the part about forsaking all others. I say he's being dramatic. He pulls out his phone again and shows me a printed email from Damien to me. It's from last week describing in detail what Damien wants to do with me. I deleted it immediately, but Marcus has it somehow. Technology is his expertise after all. He says he recovered it from the cloud backup I forgot existed. The email is explicit, assumes intimacy that hasn't happened yet. But the yet hangs between us because we both know it was heading there. Marcus mentions Damien's history next. He's done research these past few days. Damien's ex-wife didn't leave him like he told me. Damien was caught with 3 different women during their marriage. One was his client's wife. The husband sued him for alienation of affection, and won. Marcus has the court documents in his bag. He asks if I knew any of this. I didn't know. The revelation hits me hard. Damien played the victim so well, the broken man needing comfort. Marcus says predators are good at that, finding vulnerable moments in marriages and exploiting them. The way he says it makes clear he includes me in that category now, a predator to our family's happiness. I want to argue, but the evidence is overwhelming. He stands to leave and says he'll handle everything properly and legally. No drama, no revenge, just proper channels. The way he emphasizes properly feels like a threat wrapped in civilization. He mentions his parents' lawyer is excellent with family matters. I ask if he's threatening me. He says he's promising to protect himself and Emma through appropriate legal means. Nothing more, nothing less. Back at home that evening, the house feels different. Half of Marcus's clothes are gone from our closet. The guest room has been converted into an office with a lock on the door. His important documents are nowhere to be found. The safe is empty except for my passport. The kitchen calendar has a red circle around next Friday with 9 a.m. written in his neat handwriting. When I ask about the calendar marking, he says it's personal business. His laptop stays closed whenever I enter a room now. He's passworded everything, changed the Wi-Fi, updated all his account logins. There's a folder on the kitchen counter labelled Household that he moves whenever I get near it. Everything feels like evidence being gathered, preparations being made. That night, Damien calls drunk and angry. His ex is harassing him about money, he says. He wants me to come over, needs comfort. I tell him it's not a good time. He gets nasty, saying I led him on, that I promised we'd be together. The man I thought needed saving suddenly sounds dangerous and entitled. I hang up on him mid-sentence. Marcus is standing in the hallway when I turn around. He heard everything. He simply says he hopes I understand now what kind of man I chose over our family. Then he goes to his locked office and makes a phone call. I can't hear the words, but the tone is serious, professional. When he comes out, he's carrying a manila envelope that he puts in his briefcase and locks it. The smell of printer toner drifts from under his door at midnight. The shredder runs for 20 minutes. When he finally emerges at 1 a.m., he's organized and calm. I ask what he's doing. He says he's handling things properly, just like he promised. He's not mean about it, just matter of fact. Like I'm already a stranger who happens to live in his house temporarily. The next morning, he's up early making Emma breakfast. They talk about her school project while I sit ignored at the same table. She asks if I'll help her with it. Marcus says Daddy will handle it since Mommy has been busy lately. It's not said cruelly, just stated as fact. Emma accepts it because it's been true. I have been absent even when present. Marcus's phone buzzes with a reminder. He dismisses it, but I see it says Forms, 2 p.m. He notices me looking and says nothing. After dropping Emma at school, he comes home in his best suit. The one he wore to job interviews, to funerals, to court when he testified as an expert witness. He's carrying his leather portfolio, the expensive one his parents gave him for his promotion. He tells me I should be at the hospital cafeteria at noon on Friday. I ask why there of all places. He says it's convenient for everyone involved. I ask who everyone is. He doesn't answer, just repeats that I should bring identification and be prepared for important decisions. The way he says it sounds final, like everything else is already decided. That afternoon, I see him loading boxes into his car. Not many, just essential items. When I confront him, he says he's storing some things at his parents' house for safekeeping. Important documents, Emma's baby photos, things he doesn't want to lose in the transition. The word transition hits me. This isn't a fight we're having. It's an ending he's managing. Linda comes to pick up Emma that evening. She barely looks at me, just tells Emma to get her backpack. Emma hugs me goodbye, but it feels different. like she's already learning to let go. Linda mentions that Emma's doing better with the stable routine at their house. The implication is clear. I'm the chaos she needs protection from. After they leave, Marcus makes one last statement before disappearing into his office. He says tomorrow everything will be handled properly and legally. He says I should prepare myself for the consequences of my choices. He's not angry anymore, just resolved. It's scarier than any rage would be. The man I married is gone, replaced by someone protecting what's left of his family. My phone buzzes with another drunk text from Damien. This time he's threatening to come over, to fight for what we have. I delete it without responding. Whatever we have isn't worth what I've lost. But that realization comes too late. Friday is circled in red, and Marcus has made his preparations. I'm about to face whatever proper and legal means. The hospital cafeteria seems like a strange place to meet, but I arrive at noon as instructed. Marcus is already there, sitting with a woman in a business suit and his brother, Tom. The woman introduces herself as his attorney and places a thick envelope on the table. She says I'm being served with divorce papers and temporary orders. The public location is intentional. Witnesses everywhere, security cameras recording. No possibility for false accusations. The papers are devastating. Marcus has filed for divorce on grounds of adultery with Damien Cross specifically named. The evidence section lists everything. Text messages, credit card records, witness statements from Claire's party, photos from the hotel lobby, sworn affidavits from 6 mutual friends. The temporary orders are immediate and harsh. Marcus gets exclusive use of our house. I have supervised visitation with Emma pending custody evaluation. Joint accounts are frozen except for basic expenses. The attorney explains that Damien is being served simultaneously with an alienation of affection lawsuit. Marcus has documented damages including therapy costs for Emma, lost work productivity, and emotional distress. The amount sought is exactly what Damien claimed his ex-wife took from him. 3 other husbands have already contacted them about joining a civil suit against Damien.